Thank you for your patience as we continue to navigate city business through this meeting process. For the benefit of the public and as required by the Brown Act, the vote will be by roll call. City Clerk Harper, will you please take roll?
Yes, Chair Miller,
Present.
Vice Chair Thomas,
Here.
Commissioner Klinger,
Present.
Commissioner Campbell,
Here.
Commissioner Massetti,
I'm here.
all present.
Thank you. By motion of the Planning Commission, this is the time to notify the public of any changes to the agenda, rearrange the order of the agenda, and provide an opportunity for any member of the Planning Commission or staff to request an item be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Do we have a motion and a second?
Chair Miller, before you move, I just wanted to request that the minutes reflect several changes. The minutes of January 18th, the changes that we'd like to reflect in there from the package, page 4 and 5. Senior city attorney should be senior assistant city attorney. And then also on page 5, senior assistant attorney should be senior assistant city attorney. Also on page 5, the last name of the senior assistant city attorney, it was spelled Grayson, Grayson, and it should be Greyson. And then finally, in the adjournment, there is a double Monday in there, so we'll remove one of those. So we'd like the records to reflect those changes in the minutes. And then there's one other change, item resolution 2202, which is item B. There is a total of 6 pages. However, page 5 and 6 show 5 of 4 and 6 of 4. So just let the record reflect that the resolution is 6 pages in total. Thank you.
Thank you, City Clerk Harper. Do we have a motion and a second now? With those
I move
changes
that we
noted?
approve. It's Mary Ann.
Is there a second?
Second.
City Clerk Harper?
Commissioner Klinger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Massetti, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Chair Thomas, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chair Miller, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries 5 votes yes.
Thank you. At this time, members of the public may address the commission regarding the items on the Planning Commission agenda. Pursuant to the Brown Act, commission cannot discuss or take action on any items not on the agenda unless authorized by law. Those members of the public wishing to provide comments were asked to send comments via email to the city clerk or via the comment icon on the city website before 5 p.m. today. Comments provided via email by 6 p.m. will be distributed to the Planning Commission and posted on the city website for review by the public. Email comments received after that time will be posted on the city's website and forwarded to the Planning Commission after the meeting. Any documents for review should be sent to the city clerk prior to the meeting for distribution. Those members of the public wishing to call in can join the Zoom meeting from any electronic device by clicking on the link or dialing the number. Those members requesting to speak by phone or on Zoom can unmute by entering *6 when called upon to speak. Once in the meeting, you will be added to the waiting room until the public comment period begins. At that time, you will be allowed to join the meeting to offer your comments. Commenters who are not applicants will be allotted 5 minutes to address the commission. The ability to comment will be disabled when your allotted time is expired. City Clerk Harper, do we have any emailed comments?
Yes, Chair, we received 5 email comments and they were all in opposition to item B.
Thank you. Consent calendar, approval of the January 18th, 2000 Planning Commission minutes. Do we have a motion? And a second?
I move that we approve.
I'll second Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you. We have a vote by roll call. City Clerk Harper?
Yes. Commissioner Klinger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Chair Thomas, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Massetti, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chair Miller, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries 5 votes yes.
Thank you. On to the public hearing. Item B, conditional use permit 22-1 for 128 Main Street. Is there a report?
Good evening, Chair and Commissioner. Yes, there is a report that's going to be presented this evening by our interim senior planner, Art Bashwakian.
Good evening, Chair Miller and Planning Commission. This request, item, next slide, please. This is a request for a conditional use permit to allow a business office, which happens to be a real estate office, on the ground floor along Main Street within the Main Street Specific Plan zoning district. Next. This slide shows the location of the parcel in red. That parcel contains two business tenant spaces, and there's a residential unit towards the back. Next. And this is a close-up of that same site. The tenant space is approximately 625 square feet, and it's the area outlined in green. Next. And this is the street view of the subject tenant space outlined in the yellow. Next. View of the vacant interior space. Next. So the Main Street Specific Plan has a vision, and primary vision is to have a pedestrian-oriented area. And the vision statement mentions that it's to be a mix of offices and businesses, that commercial uses are key to the area's special character. Again, the plan emphasizes the pedestrian-oriented retail activities. Ground floor uses are primarily for retail and other pedestrian-oriented uses, such as personal service uses. Office uses are allowed above the first floor. However, the ordinance allows office uses on the ground floor with a conditional use permit that could be looked at on a case-by-case basis. Some cities do prohibit office uses within areas such as Main Street or pedestrian-oriented area, but Seal Beach does have the opportunity to consider office uses on a case-by-case basis. This next slide shows the Main Street area outlined in red. There are 3 existing office uses within a 300 block of Main Street. I think in the staff report I mentioned 2. There is a law offices, a 2-story building, the Baytown Realty. Those buildings are set back from the street. They're not immediately along Main Street. And the other office is the Allstate Insurance, which is fronting Main Street. This also shows the proposed office location within the 100 block of Main Street. Next. This shows the proposed interior space of the office in relationship to the findings. An office use, can you stay on that once? Thank you. So the reason why I wanted to mention and add to my comments with regards to these exhibits, which reflects the findings that staff has made. As the previous map showed that there's only 1 office within the 100 block, and then the 3 other offices on the 300 block. And the fact that this use, the applicant has agreed to dedicate the front half of the space to retail uses, to give, to make the area look like a retail use. So in order to maintain that pedestrian-oriented environment. Next slide, please. And with that, also the window display area, the applicant has agreed to make the window display area to reflect a retail use or activity versus just an office use. Next. So primarily based on the fact that the applicant has agreed to a condition to dedicate the front half of the space to retail uses, to create an atmosphere where the pedestrian walking on Main Street will see the area as a retail versus an office use. Staff was able to make the findings and in support of the conditional use permit. There are 2 sets of findings. One findings are based on the conditional use permit, which is the standard findings that are used for many other types of uses. And the other set of findings are specific to the Main Street specific plan area. There are 4 findings for that. And the staff report discusses the findings. And based on our analysis, staff's recommendation, next slide please, is to recommend that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 22-02 approving conditional use permit 22-1. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any commissioner comments? I have a question.
Yes.
This is Commissioner Miller. The perfume store that's on Electric and Main Street, that was like an insurance agent for a short, brief time, and then they were, I believe, asked to move out. Is that correct?
Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with the history of that particular use and the activity.
I tend to lean towards the my opinion is I tend to lean towards the comments that were emailed. I think it's important that those remain retail because they thrive off of each other.
I have a question. I'd like to know what exactly is the retail use in the front of that shop?
Sure. Based on the applicant's proposal, it would be more home decor items. And I think when the applicant has an opportunity to speak, they could probably elaborate. But basically, it's the home decor and some artwork. And that's
Mhm.
basically it.
Okay, thank you.
How would that be enforced?
That's a good question. And with regards to enforcement, typical with many cities, enforcement is reaction as the staff receives complaints and will go out and inspect the site and to ensure that if the use is not in compliance with the conditions of approval or code, then the city pursues their enforcement. With regards to a situation like this, which is different, if the Planning Commission were to decide to approve this, there could be an additional condition that could be added that basically reminds staff to maybe annually visit the site every 3 months or 6 months, and just to ensure that that area is being designed the way the plans showed. That's one way to enforce because it's not it's an unusual situation, so it warrants a closer eye on it and enforcement.
This is Community Development Director Smittle. I could add to that too. I mean, this, as we all know, I am new to the city, and this will be the first conditional use permit approved while I'm here. But in my previous tenure, essentially with new conditional use permits like this, where you have some special types of things going on, what I would do from an operational standpoint is really you put things on a list and make sure they're enforced for a certain period of time. And then typically, you learn more about the business and you can start to relax those inspections and types of things. But just that's to share how I would handle something like this from my perspective.
Are there any other commissioner comments?
Well, I would like to see that enforcement idea of checking on that every, I don't know, a certain period of time, even if it's every 6 months or so.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's a real estate office, no matter what, whether it's artwork up front or.
Well,
That's the source of revenue.
Would you like me to comment on the enforcement issue as well? This is Amy Grayson. Or I can wait or not.
Are there no other commissioner comments?
Yeah, I want to hear from the applicant, but I have nothing to say at this time.
Now open to public hearing. City Clerk Harper, do we have any emailed comments?
Yes, actually, I misspoke earlier. We have a total of 6 email comments. You have 5 in your possession that I've emailed to you, and we got one after the fact. So I'll email that one to you later, and they'll be all uploaded on the city's website after the meeting.
Thank you.
Did we all get copies of those emails?
Yes, I sent them to you a little bit after 5
Okay,
p.m.
did you send them to my mailbox at Seal Beach or my home email?
Seal Beach.
Okay, I didn't
Would you
get
like for me to send them to your?
Yes,
Okay, I'll do that as well.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
too. Me too, Massetti.
Okay,
I didn't get
thank
it.
you.
City Clerk Harper, is the new comment, is that similar to the other ones?
Yes, it is from Lisa Woodruff. And yeah, it was similar. It was opposing the item as well. All 6 were in opposition of the item.
Is it possible to paraphrase the main reason for objection?
I would have to pull those emails up. Let me see.
Okay.
I can pull one up really, really quick. Just give me just a couple of seconds.
I guess it wasn't memorable.
I
Well-
think the main point is that Main Street is meant for retail. And
Right.
that's-
Correct. That's the pulse of all of the emails. Yes.
Yeah. Would the applicant like to address the commission? The
Hello.
applicant on the line?
No. Hi, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, hi.
Hi. So I'm Deborah Geter. Yes, I'd like to address all of you if I could. I have an office in San Clemente on Del Mar, and we are a pedestrian-friendly street. Our door is open 9 to 5 and later hours in the summer, and people are coming in and out. My offices do not feel like offices. The way that this office would be designed on Main, if I would get your approval, there would be a glass like partition so that desks would be behind. It would be set up like retail where people can come in and out, ask about restaurants, talk to whomever is at the front, and just, we have like an open door, very friendly type of a setting. It doesn't feel like an office. And we've been, like I said, in San Clemente since 2011 with that pedestrian friendly type environment. So I understand your concern about not wanting to be officey, but truly the items that we're selling, we're going to be items that people may see out in staged homes. There'll be a little like tag on it that would say, find me at 128 Main. There's home decor. There's an art gallery wall so the public can come in the morning or when they're walking and look at the art. The art is for sale. It would be local artists. So that would help the city's revenue. And then, yes, of course, if someone has a question about the market or they want to talk, there's a private behind glass desk area to sit quietly. But the front 50%, and my word is the only thing I have in life. It's everything to me. So 50% of that office is retail with sort of the items that you saw on the rendering that I sent over, home decor style with tables where you can touch things. So I just wanted to let you know that because you don't know me. And so I wanted you to know what my intention was.
Does anyone have any
Okay.
comments or questions for the applicant?
Yes, you did mention that you were selling things. Is it really, do people really buy things in there? It doesn't look too much retail, just a little. Will there be somebody to sell things?
100%. Yes.
And
Yes,
do people actually buy those things?
Yes, they do. And yes, they do. We even, I didn't show the renderings here, but in the San Clemente office, we have, we're also up from the pier and we had like bags that said San Clemente and we had sold those in the past, but I thought this store warranted a more home decor and upscale sort of look. And so that was, and then we change out the windows all the time. But yes, people do come in and they do purchase and they chat and they ask about restaurants and all of that stuff. We're really very involved with the public. We love that communication, like I said, and the door is open all day. It is not a closed office of any kind. And it won't be, if I were to be so lucky to be approved, it would not be a closed office in Seal Beach either. But yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions? City Clerk Harper, do we have anyone on the call wishing to address the commission?
I'm sorry. We do have Carl Hugh on the line to address the commission.
Mr. Hugh?
Miss,
Good evening. I am not for item B. I am here for item C.
Okay.
perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
So nobody's on the line. I'll now close the public hearing. Is there a motion and a second?
Give me just 1 second. We do have the iPhone guest here. Are you
Okay.
here for item B or C?
I'm here for item C.
Okay,
John.
perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Are you going to have any discussion before you make a motion?
Sure. Yes, please do, Patty.
Well, I can see where the residents are coming from when they want strictly retail on Main Street. Perhaps if this use was down where the Bay Realty and the legal office are, it wouldn't be a problem. And it's unfortunate it's not upstairs. But it appears that the applicant does want walk-through traffic.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Thomas. Chair Miller, may I address
Yes,
the group?
please do.
Thanks. By the way, are we ever going to get back to in-person meetings? I hope so. I was going to say, I kind of think back to, a couple of communities that I go to regularly, and I think of like Avalon, which is a cute little walking area, and I think of Coronado, which also does. And each of them have some real estate offices there on Main Street or on the main drag. I absolutely, I understand why folks would speak against this, but my personal opinion is I don't think that at this scale, which is very small, certainly I don't think Baytown Realty detracts. I walk by it and I always look at the houses that are there on the marquee. I don't think it does detract from what our little community looks like. If there were or our Main Street, if there was, a half a dozen of these, yes, I could see that absolutely being a problem. Do I want to see like law offices and things like that everywhere? No. But I will say that it is my opinion that this is at this scale an appropriate use of this particular storefront, and this is America, and I say power to Miss Geider, who's trying to expand her business, and sounds like she's interested in our community, and so I'm going to go ahead and move to approve. But I don't want to discourage any more conversation. Please, anyone can chime in.
I'll second the motion, Massetti.
I would say to your, so if we approve this one, does the next person get approved just because, what is it? And I think that all 6 of those comments were from business owners. And I think that.
Yeah.
Does this become precedent?
I think we test, and I'm okay with that. Again, I give you my reasons why I think it's okay and consistent, and think it will work out just fine for our community. However, like I said, I'm not saying to the world around, come here, set up your office on our Main Street. I'm saying that this one, I'm okay with.
I am too. I'm satisfied with the answer that she is going to sell things and it will act as a retail. And I like the idea that the city will, the planning commission planners will check on it.
Anyone else before we vote?
May I just suggest if you do want some kind of periodic review or inspection, we should add something to the condition.
I would like to say that my motion does not include that, Amy. So I'm just saying,
Okay.
I move to approve it as it is. If someone wants to offer to amend it, then they can speak up. Because I think it's a real estate office. And but yeah.
Anyone else? Are we, Chair or Commissioner Mancetti, are you seconding?
Yes, I seconded it. I'm ready to vote.
City Clerk Harper?
Yes. Vice Chair Thomas, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Massetti, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Chair Miller, how do you vote?
No.
Motion carries 4-1.
And
Assistant City Attorney Grayson?
thank you. This decision is appealable to the City Council. It has a 10-day appeal period, which starts running tomorrow.
Thank you. On to item C, conditional use permit 22-2 at 231 14th Street. Applicant is Yolanda Davies. Is there a report?
Yes, Chair, thank you. We have a report presented this evening by Marco Cuevas, our Assistant Planner.
Thank you, Alexa. Good evening, Chair Miller and Planning Commissioners. Tonight's proposal is from Yolanda Davis, who filed an application for a conditional use permit 22-2, requesting approval to allow an interior remodel and the expansion of a living room and addition of a new front porch to an existing single-family residence. Next slide, please. For this particular property, the subject site is located near the southwestern corner of 14th Street and Landing Avenue in the Old Town area, and is developed with a single-story, single-family residence with attached two-car garage. The site is located in RHD 20 zone and is surrounded by residential uses on all sides. Next slide, please. Okay, this slide represents the site location. So the subject property is non-conforming due to its setbacks along the north and south interior sides of the property. According to table 11.2.05.015 of the Seal Beach Municipal Code, interior side setbacks for lots in the RHD 20 zone are required to be at least 10 feet or 10% of the lot width. And so in this case, that since the lot is 37.5 feet wide, it would require side setbacks of 3 feet 9 inches. So the subject property is an interior lot. It measures 37.5 feet wide by 100 feet deep. And as I mentioned, based on these dimensions, the development standard requires an interior side yard setbacks of 3 feet 9 inches. The existing northerly side setback is 3 foot 1 inch for approximately 34 feet. And the southerly side yard setback is 3 feet 3 inches. All other setbacks and zoning requirements are code compliant. Next slide, please. So this is a site plan of the property. And the applicant is proposing to expand the residence by adding 157 square feet to the existing living room area and by adding a 101 square foot porch up in the front. So the areas that you see that are in green represent the areas to be expanded. So the area with the hash marks, the slide vertical lines there, represent the expansion of the living room area. And then the green further portion towards 14th Street represents the front porch addition. So the front porch proposes to extend 5 feet into a portion of the front yard, leaving a 7 foot setback, which is in excess of a 6 foot minimum and within the 12 foot average. The proposed addition will result in a slight increase in lot coverage due to the living room expansion and front porch addition. The total lot coverage is calculated at 50%, which is still less than the maximum permitted of 71.6% for that area. Next slide, please. So these graphics represent the floor plans. The image to the left is a demo plan for the property, and the green line represents the outside wall that would be demolished. The image to the right is a proposed floor plan, which shows the area to be expanded as represented by the green shaded area. The area added will only take place along a portion of the front southern property of the residence, and will maintain the 3-foot 9-inch side setback as required by code. Next slide, please. So these elevation views above are the areas to be, which showing the areas to be expanded in red. So as you can see from the top middle graphic, basically where I have it, the red dash marks would be the area that you would see expanded. And then the graphic below that shows the south elevation, which would be the interior side, south side of the property. And once again, the red dash marks would show the area to be expanded. Slide, please. And so this is a side view of the property as it exists now. So basically the area that would be expanded would be the area that you see the front porch there would be enclosed, but then another porch would come in front of that and still meeting setbacks and still being in compliance with the side setback of 3 feet 9 inches. Slide, please. So this Seal Beach Municipal Code section 11.4.40.20 allows for improvements which involve the alteration or addition of 2 residences that are non-conforming due to setbacks subject to approval of a conditional use permit. All the proposed improvements to the subject property conform to the requirements of the Seal Beach Municipal Code. This conditional use permit is required due to the parcel having a structure that does not meet setback requirements. The proposed addition would be consistent with other residential properties and would not intensify the existing nonconformity on the property because the proposed addition would meet the setback requirements for the RHD20 zone and would maintain all required setbacks. The alterations proposed are consistent with the provisions in the Seal Beach Municipal Code. Next slide, please. So with that, a recommended action is for the Plan Commission to adopt Resolution 22-3, approving conditional use permit 22-2. That concludes my presentation. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? I will now open the public hearing. City Clerk Harper, do we have any emailed comments?
No email comments were received regarding this item.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to address the commission? Mrs. Davies?
No, thank you, Steve. All good.
Do we have any, City Clerk Harper, do we have anyone on the call wishing to address the commission?
Yes, we have 2 people. We have a Mr. Carl Hugh, and then we have John, who is the iPhone guy.
Mr. Hugh?
So Mr. Hugh, if you'll unmute yourself.
I am unmuted.
There you are.
Feel free to address, sorry.
Very good, thank you. Honorable Chair, members of the Commission, good evening. My name is Carl Hoy with Travis Companies. I speak before you tonight on behalf of the property owner of 1300 Pacific Coast Highway, which is the existing Chevron gas station owned and operated by G&M Oil. We have had an opportunity to review the staff report presented and on your website. We have also had an opportunity to listen to Marco's presentation and his staff report. We are in support of the recommendation to approve CUP 22.2 and G&M Oil as the property owner at 1300 PCH have asked me to identify that and make that part of the public record. That's all I've got. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
John, if you want to unmute, you can address the commissioners now.
Hi, my name is John Udoff. I was the designer of the project. I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that if you have any questions, I'm available.
Thank you. Somebody have any questions? I will now close the public hearing. Do we have a motion and a second?
I move that we approve.
I second. City
Was
Clerk
that
Harp?
Chair Miller?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yes.
that was you that seconded. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, I'll go ahead. Commissioner Klinger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chair Miller, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Chair Thomas, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Massetti, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries 5 votes yes.
Thank you. Senior Assistant City Attorney Grayson.
Hi. This decision is appealable to the city council. There is a 10-day appeal period that starts running tomorrow.
Thank you. Is there a director's report?
Thank you, Chair. Just a very brief one that we've already touched on. As you never say never in this climate, but I believe that this will be our last Zoom meeting for the Planning Commission. Our next Planning Commission, I believe, will be an in-person meeting, and I look forward to seeing you all in person.
Sounds good.
Mm.
Any commission concerns? Patty?
Nope, I'm good.
No? Okay. Commissioner Thomas?
Nope, all good. Great work.
Everybody's good?
Yep. Go ahead.
All right. I will adjourn the Planning Commission to Monday, April 4th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Good night.
you.
You.
Night.
Good night.